Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order our regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, November 5th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business is our opening ceremony, which consists of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have given their lives while defending our country. Would everybody please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Ms. Mastny, can you take the roll, please?
Good evening, Mayor Walker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jacobs.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Fuller.
Here.
Okay, moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda as presented.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the agenda for Monday, November 5th, 2018 at 7 o'clock p.m.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes 7-0. At this time, we'll move on to item 5, recognition. I'm going to call up Sergeant Eric Kolke from the Western Wayne Special Operations Team. He wants to recognize 2 of our Garden City officers. Sir, podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council, for giving me the time to do this. I'm going to apologize up front. I am not a public speaker. I'm a cop, so bear with me. My name is Eric Kolke. I'm a sergeant with Canton Township Police Department. I'm also a member of Western Wayne County SWAT team. Currently, I'm assigned as sniper team leader on that team, so I'm in charge of the snipers, which you see back here, all wearing their green Gumby suits like me. So, the reason why we're here tonight is basically to recognize 2 officers, 2 very special officers on our team from Garden City Police Department, Lieutenant Eric Zimmer and Sergeant Bob Arnowski. They are retiring from our SWAT team. They're no longer going to be with us, which is a big loss for us. So we wanted to come together and basically for the last time say thank you to them, bring them up, give them their plaques, and I got a couple of words I want to say about each of them, which will be interesting. So if you can both come on up here, please. So Lieutenant Zimmer came to our team 2013, told you. 2013 came to Western Wayne County. Garden City had their own SWAT team. They decided to join our team. Big benefit for us, we're a mutual aid type SWAT team. We have 10 different cities on our SWAT team, and Garden City came over with us. When he did, there was an obvious issue. If you guys haven't heard already, I'm a sergeant. He has gold bars, right? He's a lieutenant. So I'm going to be in charge of Lieutenant Zimmer if he's doing this. That being said, Eric was awesome for us. Eric would help more than anything for me, helped me how to be a supervisor, how to be a command officer on the SWAT team, but also his knowledge of being a sniper was great for us. He brought that with us. One of the biggest things that really helped us along, and Miss Michigan, you could probably attest to it. He's a great dresser. Taught us all how to dress. That hair, I just don't know how he does it, but he does a great job with it. So, yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm sure his wife appreciates that. Moving on. Sergeant Arnosky. Sergeant Arnosky's also, both of them, great shooters, great snipers. When you're a sniper on a SWAT team, basically you're tasked to go out and do your own thing. You don't have a group of people with you the majority of the time to help you and make decisions with you. You make your own decision. Both of these guys did a great job. Bob is probably dying right now being up in front of people because he's not a big speaker like I am, apparently. But Bob also brought a lot to the team, not only being a great shooter like Eric, but also he's a, what is it, idiot Fazan? Is that what it's called? Anyway, really smart guy. We'll put it that way. Really smart guy. With sniping, there's a lot of mathematical equations that go into it and how to change your dopes on your guns, things like that. I could look at Bob. We'd go up to the Camp Grayling every year. It's 1,000-yard range up there, which is a pretty impressive shot with wind and everything. Look at Bob and say, hey, man, we're at 1,000 yards. What do I need to do? Tell me, turn your turret 360 clicks up, and you're good to go, and send the round, and it would make it. So amazing guy. It's going to be hard for us to replace him and Eric on the team. So both of you, thank you very much for your time with us. Again, once a sniper, always a sniper. You're always with us. If you guys ever need anything, please don't hesitate to call us. All right? Thank you. Just so you know, the plaques here say both Lieutenant Zimmer and Sergeant Arnosky for your service as a sniper on Delta Platoon, that's our sniper team, Western Wayne County Special Operations Team, 2014 to 2018. Great job.
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah. You want us in the front row down underneath?
He's still with them.
Cool. All right. GQ, yeah. Could you blur our faces out?
At this time, I'd like to call up Miss Michigan, Elise Made, Garden City resident, recently crowned Miss Michigan, and she's going to represent Garden City and the state of Michigan next year in the Miss Michigan USA pageant. We are very proud to have you here tonight. We're going to be rooting for you next year, and so we hope you bring home the crown for Miss USA. So I got a resolution here, resolution of recognition adopted by the City Council of the City of Garden City, Michigan, November 15th, 2018, honoring Elise Made. Whereas Elise Made has chosen as 2019 Miss Michigan USA with grace and distinction, and whereas Elise will represent Garden City and the state of Michigan in the 2019 Miss Michigan USA. And whereas Elise Made was also chosen as first runner-up of the 2018 Miss Michigan USA, and whereas Elise is a 2011 graduate of Garden City High School, and whereas Elise has brought the city of Garden City statewide recognition, and whereas Elise has been chosen as Grand Marshal for the 2018 Santaland Parade. And now therefore be resolved that the City Council of Garden City congratulates Elise Made on her being chosen as Miss Michigan USA 2019 and wish her the great success in the Miss USA pageant as well as a bright future. God bless you, and come over here and we'll take a photo op with you. Council behind us. Did you want to say a few words?
Oh, sure.
I'll let her say a few words.
Well, I just wanted to say I'm extremely honored to be here. Also, I'm extremely honored to represent Garden City. I did grow up here my whole life. Also, I wanted to encourage every single one of you to make sure that you go to the polls tomorrow and vote so we can keep our city great. Thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to represent all of you at the Miss USA pageant.
Thank you. Okay, we have no community events tonight. Move on to comments from state and county officials. I don't see anybody here tonight, do you guys? No. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to, we have no petitions or communication, no public hearings. Move on to item 10, the consent agenda.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda, item 10A, 1, 2, and 3.
Support.
Support for Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, passes 7-0. We'll move on to item B, the B1, National Fitness Campaign Fitness Court final payment.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve the final payment for the National Fitness Campaign Fitness Court in the amount of $40,525.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Kerwin. For the general public, this was $50,000 was donated from residents and businesses and organizations, and the other $50,000 was a grant. So this is not costing the city anything, and this is just making the final payment. Any comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that passes 7-0. Item 2, contract with Garden City Public Schools for community engagement services.
Mayor,
Councilmember Earl.
I move to approve the one-year contract between Garden City Public Schools and the City of Garden City Community Resources Department for community engagement services in the amount of $30,000, as well as the supplemental appropriation of funds and authorized Community Resources Director and City Manager to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
Support for Councilmember Kerwin. I'm going to call up Monica Fulton to explain this for the residents. Community Resource Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Garden City Public Schools was interested in contracting with our department to provide some services in the schools to help connect families not only with the programs going on in their school buildings and in their district, but also in the community. Things like the food pantry and health insurance enrollment through My Child and Family Resource Center, really expanding that. They received some grant money unexpectedly from the State of Michigan Department of Education through the Title IV program. I'm not all in the know about the details of that, but community engagement is one of those pieces that the grant qualifies for. So they had talked about it in their admin meetings, and the department heads brainstormed and said, why don't we contract with the folks at Maplewood? Because this is what they do. So this is really great opportunity to really get more services into the schools for the families for what we're already doing here at Maplewood. We will be using existing staff and interns to carry out the contract services.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the table? Mayor.
I just want to say I love seeing the collaboration between the schools and the city and the community services. I think that's great.
Yep, it's awesome. From the general public, anybody? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. Item 3, permission to be included in 12-agency regional grant for handheld mobile and base station radios. Councilmember Lynch.
I move to grant permission to the fire department to be included in a 12-agency regional grant for handheld mobile and base units with a 10% match up to $8,000, and to authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents. Support.
Support from Councilmember Kerwin. This would be $80,000 worth of radios for the fire department. Most of it in grant money. We would have to come up with $8,000 out of the $80,000. So $72,000 grant. Chief, did you want to come up and say anything about it, or is it self-explanatory? All right. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none, that passes 7-0. Next, we move on for 3 CPR compression machines for the fire department. Same thing, grant money
Mayor.
with a match. Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to grant permission to the fire department to write for 3 Lucas devices, CPR compressions. A 10% match of the total $56,500 is required, and to authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents related to this grant.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Again, this would be $5,600 roughly for the city to pay, and the rest would be with grant money. Any comments from the table?
Chief, if I'm not mistaken, this device it does the compressions now for the firefighters or for anybody, so you don't have to actually do the hand compressions, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
They can be working on other
All right.
life-saving.
These have come down in price. They're a lot more mobile. They're portable. They're much easier to use. So we've been wanting them for a long time. It's the first time they became available in the grant form.
Yep. And I'm sure, as everybody knows, when somebody's heart's not beating, seconds mean everything. So again, this is for the residents. These will be in all the fire department vehicles, and it can save lives down the road. So it's a great thing to have. Any other comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Item 5, supplemental appropriation for $4,800 PEG fund balance for a utility trailer for Garden City TV.
Mayor.
Councilmember Lynch.
I move to approve the following supplemental appropriation for the Cable PEG Fund, increasing revenues and expenditures in the amount of $4,874. Support.
Support from Councilmember McCarge. Mr. York, you want to come up and explain what this trailer's used for? I know Sandland Parade's one of them, but for the residents. And it is paid for with cable fees, not the city's money. It's paid.
And the supplemental appropriation is out of the fund balance for the PEG fund. It's not from the general fund.
Right.
And this is a fund balance that we've built up over the years. It's kind of a multi-purpose thing where it's kind of a mobile press box, an announce house, whatever you want to call it, for things like the Santaland Parade, where we need to put the announcers, like me, in something so that there's a controlled environment, electricity, heat, whatever you need. Then we can use it for things like GCYA sports where we don't have anything on site, Little League or Garden City Cougar softball, baseball, that kind of stuff. So basically anything that we have that the people need to be in some sort of controlled environment. And also then it can be used for example like Shred Day. They can use it as a little main center, I guess, for people to go to for the flea circus, stuff like that, where they're out under a tent or they're just sitting at a table. This will give a controlled environment for people to work out of.
Absolutely. Any questions for Mr. York? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 7, contract for road salt for this winter.
Mayor.
Councilmember Kerwin.
Motion to award early fill road salt contract to Compass Minerals in compliance with Michigan State bid in the amount of $73,200 for the 2018-19 winter season.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Jacobs. Any comments from the table? You probably didn't buy any road salt down in Florida, did you, Mr. Doherty?
No, not as much as we buy here.
I didn't think so.
One of the greatest things I hear about, of course, the DPS is maintaining the roads.
Yeah.
And this is just getting ahead of the game. We have salt in the pyramid right now, ready to go, so anything hits us this week, we're in good shape. And this was something that was ordered at last spring, going into the state bid to make sure that we're ready for any future storms also. So this is just, once again, the city of Garden City being ahead of the game and ready.
Okay. Any other comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 7, housing rehabilitation project with CDBG grant funds.
Mayor?
Councilmember Squires.
I move to award the contract for Housing Rehabilitation Project 17-01-004 to Absolute Waterproofing Solutions in accordance with the posted bid packet using CDBG funds. and authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Absolute Waterproofing Solutions in the amount of $15,155.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Kerwin. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 8, all-wheel skid steer loader Bobcat A770 for DPS.
Mayor?
Councilmember Earl.
I move to approve the purchase of an all-wheel skid steer loader A77 Bobcat from Carlton Equipment Company of Livonia, Michigan, in the amount of $82,777.57.
Support. Mr. Doherty, you want to explain this for
Yes, sir.
DPS?
Thank you, Mayor. The Bobcat's a complement to the Toolcat that we already purchased, so similar attachments can be used for both vehicles, so that's a nice touch, where the Toolcat's much more for light-duty stuff, salting, snow removal, some brushing on the street. This is a heavy-duty piece of equipment that's good for concrete breaking. We're looking at 3 types of auger sizes, 9-inch, 18-inch, and 24-inch auging, as well as tree log grappling. Right now, we try to use a backhoe to move around tree logs, where this is a much smaller, compact piece of equipment, but heavy-duty to be more efficient on the job. So this is something, I purchased this in other cities, and once the men over and the ladies in DPS start to use it, they're going to find that they can't believe they worked without it. So the all wheels difference, for those that may be aware of skid steers, most of the time you pull forward, you back up. It's kind of like almost a zero-turn mower. You're ripping up the ground, where this actually drives a little more like a car, can pull in and back out, and so there's less damage to the ground itself. That's the benefit of this, the all-wheel, as opposed to a traditional skid steer. So this is utilizing funds that, instead of purchasing the street sweeper, we talked about reprogramming some of the funds, so this would be ready to go for us this probably a couple months from now.
This is being purchased out of road fund money, right?
Yes, yep, being all used for road work, yeah.
Okay, any comments from the table? General public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 9, to call for a public hearing on medical marijuana ordinance amendment.
Mayor?
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to amend the medical marijuana ordinance of the City of Garden City, providing for distance clarification, hours of operation, and compliance with Michigan building design, and to call for a public hearing for Monday, December 3rd, 2018.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. There'll be no discussion on this tonight because we'll have the discussion at the public hearing. This is just to call for the public hearing. Any comments from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that passes 7-0. Okay, we are at public comments. Anybody wishing to speak, come up to the podium, state your name. There is a 3-minute time limit. This is your opportunity to make a statement or a comment. It is not the time to go back and forth with council members. Anybody wishing to speak? Mr. Molnar.
I just wanted to, I got to try to say this right because I'll get it all done with. I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, for the fact that ever since you've been sitting in that seat, you've always held this for the veterans. I'm an old veteran for the Vietnam thing. And Vietnam people wasn't treated very well when they come back. And we do appreciate you and the council for all you do for the veterans. That's all I want to say, Rob.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Mr. Hunt?
Kevin Hunt, Bridge, Garden City. I was up here a few months ago and had a problem with Garden City Hospital. Mayor, I want to thank you. You got a hold of the CEO over at the hospital. I want to thank the hospital for changing their ways of their billing. They are actually now, it took a little bit of time, but I knew my 80-year-old mother could do it. She ended up back in there, and then I started getting the billings again. It is an itemized bill now. It's a lot more understandable. Just still, if they send you a bill, hang on and make sure, you, especially with the elderly, that not only the Medicare took care of their part, but then your supplemental kicked in, because they will send you a bill as soon as they get paid by one of them. But at least you know what that bill is now instead of just pay this amount. And the only other thing I have is, Doc, I don't know if mayor and council told you yet, but when the salt spreaders go down in those dump trucks, the city manager gets the 5-gallon bucket and he stands on the back and throws. So get yourself a nice warm coat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? City managers report.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got to go coat shopping, apparently. So Maplewood parking lot, just give a quick update. Asphalt has been laid, the top level layer, striping is complete. They're looking at taking off tomorrow because of Election Day, so there's no interference. So the bumper blocks and restoration to the property itself will take place on Wednesday, depending on the weather. Hubbard, James, and Cambridge, the asphalt driveway approaches have been placed today. So those that had concrete driveways got concrete driveways. Those that had asphalt are getting asphalt. But the street itself should be done in the next couple of days, again, depending on the weather. And then immediately afterward, the gravel shoulders and remaining sod restoration will take place. And that's Hubbard, James, and Cambridge. So we're looking at the next week or two. We should be complete with those roads getting ready for the winter. Marquette sectioning has been complete at this point. And joint and crack sealing is about 50% done at this point. We're looking at Block and Balmoral streets with some recleaning of the joints and placement of the mastic. But that'll be, again, after the weather clears up a little bit for us. DTE, there was a question at the last meeting in reference to a citizen asked about Manor Park Road, so we called in DTE leadership. We met with them. They're looking into what they can do about adding some lights over there on Manor Park where the soccer fields are also. But one of the things they came back to us, which is interesting, I think, for everyone to know, they're going to spend this spring doing a whole lot of tree trimming in at least the northeast section of the city. On record, we have 80% of our power outages are actually from tree branches. They said traditionally you'll see about 20% as a standard for cities. They said Garden City's at 80%. So on record, when they get there and realize what the problem is, it's a tree. So they're going to be doing a whole lot of clearing. I mentioned about our 4x4 program. That should help out. Of course, we're doing small areas at a time, but we're doing some major tree trimming also in those areas. Not so close to their lines, our in-house work, but certainly that's an interesting point. And the question was, why do we have so many outages? Because we just seem to have a lot in this city. Well, now we know why. It's from trees itself. We also received a number of calls of people that are concerned or confused a little bit on the charter changes for tomorrow. So just, if you mind, just take a minute just to explain the three. For those that haven't voted yet, there are 3 charter amendments for the city of Garden City. One is the question of if a mayor would step down from the seat and the Mayor Pro Tem would step up. Currently, the writing in the charter is there's no provision for them to step back. So to step back to their position. So no good deed goes unpunished, I guess. So when the Mayor Pro Tem steps up to help out the city and they may have 2 more years left on their term, they lose those 2 years and just disappear because they helped out as mayor. So that charter amendment number 1 literally is if the Mayor Pro Tem steps up to help out, can they step back to their seat? It seems like something that possibly should happen. Second part is if for some reason in the second charter amendment, the Mayor Pro Tem cannot step up to the mayor's seat, may have been recently in an accident or some work issues, they're not available enough to take the mayor position, who would step up? Well, right now the charter says the Mayor Pro Tem will step up no matter what's going on. And by the way, they can't step back either. So we'll fix it in number 1. But number 2, who would step up next? We're basically saying the person who got the second amount of votes in the last election. So the Mayor Pro Tem got the most votes, that's why they became Mayor Pro Tem, but if they can't step up to help out in replacement of the mayor, the person who got the second amount of votes would step up to be mayor. Right now, we do not have definitions for these things at all, so it's pretty much one way and that's it. So that's Charter Amendment number 2, which again, there's not a whole lot of scary government stuff going on. It's pretty much straightforward. We're just trying to make sure we have continuity in the government. And then the third one is in reference to the pay of the council. It's not asking for more pay at all. The charter amendment, the charter actually says $28.80 is what the council will be paid. The mayor's salary is $4,000 for the whole year. Now these salaries were set in 1985. So it's a pretty good chance that they weren't set high for the future. They're relatively low compared to where I'm used to other places around the country. But the $28.80, currently they're paid $60 a meeting. What's considered $60 a regular meeting. So if we have a meeting of a special workshop of the fire department or Parks and Recreation, and that's not listed on the calendar as a regular meeting, that's kind of a special workshop, it's advertised, but they don't receive any funds whatsoever for those meetings. They're only receiving money for meetings that like this or the budget meetings. So now you take, let me do my little soliloquy here for a second. You take council that certainly nobody runs for the money, but it is a 24-hour job. You don't go to the grocery store without anybody asking you some questions about the roads or Little League or so. You don't go to church, you got late night calls, there's constant involvement in what you're doing here. And then you're coming, of course, to the meetings. You're preparing for the meetings, you go through the meetings. Some of our meetings seem to be a little quicker because they have a lot of information on the back end, so they know how to answer some of the questions. But at the same time, there's still a lot of preparation. And when you start looking at $60 for the meeting, it doesn't add up to a whole lot, considering there's a whole lot of other meetings that they aren't being paid for, including even on the side as SEMCOG and some of the other Western Wayne meetings and Central Wayne meetings. There's so many others that they aren't paid for at all. So some people have inquired about $28.80. I didn't know they got paid that much. It's not very much. And they're not getting the $28.80 necessarily, even though it's in the charter, because it's only $60 a meeting. And depending on how many meetings they have registered, it kind of fluctuates. So what we're basically saying, in the charter, the mayor is paid $4,000 a year flat fee. And again, that was 1985 they decided that. The council's paid per meeting. We're just trying to change the charter to say, why aren't they just paid the same? It's $28.80, no increase in salary, but they're paid for the year and it's not per meeting. So it's just kind of, it's more of a housekeeping thing. It's not that they're paid more, it's how they're being paid. And that's what we're just trying to tighten up a little bit. So those are the three charter changes. Again, sometimes it looks like freaky deaky government stuff going on and trying to get people to vote yes for something they don't understand. It's really as simple as, let's just make sure we have continuity of government with the vice mayor, the mayor pro tem stepping up, and then also how they're being paid, which again is not a whole lot of money compared to most places in the world. So there you go. And that's it for me right now. Thank you. Busy day tomorrow for elections.
Councilmember McCarch.
First of all, thank you for giving me the update on the sidewalk program that I asked for. For those people who have their sidewalks are marked that they're going to be corrected, they are starting the Area B, the second area, today, and they'll be working through December 14th. So if you thought your sidewalk was going to be done and it is not done yet, that is what they're going to be doing in the next few weeks. So appreciate that. And also I appreciated the information on the changes in the lighting ordinance and enforcement. And I'm not going to go over the total details of what they've been doing, but to me, it's made so much more sense. They're educating first, letting the businesses know what the rules are. They're going, they're making paper contact, people contact, and they're doing it the right way. So thank you, and I think we'll see a lot of improvement in the lighting. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kerwin.
October 29th was the grand opening for the outdoor fitness court, the Garden City Park. I just think that's another great event, or not event, another great addition to Garden City, a free addition to Garden City. Anybody can go use it. From my understanding, it's the first one in Michigan. There's only 100 around like it, so I think that's pretty great. Tuesday, November 13th, at the Garden City Cafe at 7 o'clock is coffee hour with K9. I've been there to several of them, and I've always learned something new. If you want to know what's going around in your neighborhood, or you have any questions, that's where you need to be, and you can ask them there. And good luck to the GCYA Cougar cheerleaders. On Saturday, they will have their big competition. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Lynch.
I just want to congratulate the Tipton Academy Middle School girls baseball team. They had an outstanding year this year, 9-1 season, and tonight they played their first championship game and they won 32-23. So I want to wish them good luck in game 2 on Wednesday and say, go Lady Tigers. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Jacobs.
Other than vote tomorrow, don't forget, I have nothing tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Squires.
Don't forget about the deadline for the Santaland Parade. Submitting an entry is November 6th. And also our theme this year is the Ugly Sweater Christmas. And sweatshirts are on sale at Maplewood and City Hall for $25 each. And also, we have vintage hoodies from previous years for $15 at both places. So don't forget to get your sweatshirt, and don't forget to submit your entry for the parade. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Earl?
Yeah, real quick, November 19th, which is a Monday, the sports venue is going to be doing their turkey dinner for seniors. Last year, they cooked 35 turkeys. The turkeys are all donated by community members. So they're looking for donations of turkeys, canned corn, green beans, turkey gravy, cranberry sauce, and whipped cream. So if you want to donate any of that, you have to bring it up to the sports venue by November 12th. It's a great event. It's just another example of a really good business giving back to its community. And then the only other thing I have to say is I've said this several times. With school in session, over the last few weeks, we've had across the nation several children killed or seriously injured by people not paying attention and running past school buses. If the light is on and the stop sign is out, you have to stop. Don't stop directly behind it. Don't stop next to it. Stop well away from it, because these kids are running all over. I've seen people speeding up and down the street before the school bus gets there while families are walking to get their kids from the school bus. So there's still little kids walking down the street just because the school bus isn't there. So please, there's nothing in your life more important than stopping and watching out for the kids. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Massey, yeah?
A couple things. I wanted to give an update on Shred Day, which was held on Saturday. We had 162 cars and 7 people who walked up to take advantage of the shred services. We had a mobile Secretary of State trailer there who serviced 47 people. And we received approximately 100 pounds of food and received $66 in donations for our home food pantry. We have our spring 2019 date confirmed. It's going to be Saturday, May 18th, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I wanted to remind people, get out and vote tomorrow. That's all I have.
Okay. Veterans Day ceremony for the city of Garden City. As you know, Veterans Day falls on Sunday, November 11th, so we have to move it to our ceremony to Monday, November 12th at 11 a.m. at the O'Leary Auditorium. Please come out and support our veterans. Monday, November 12th, O'Leary Auditorium at 11 a.m. sharp. That's all I have. No further business. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.